Adventures of Elliot is getting a lot of attention right now, and it reminded me why I love 2.5D and 2D HD games so much. There's just something about tiny little pixel characters walking through these 3D diorama worlds that feel magical. It feels nostalgic but not old, modern but still charming. And since Adventures of Elliot was made in Unreal Engine, I wanted to test something. Can I build a HD 2D style scene in Unreal using mostly tools that were already inside of the engine? Because Unreal has this reputation for massive realistic 3D games, realistic rocks, realistic humans, realistic everything. But I know that Unreal can do way more than that, and I want to show you how. So today, I'm going to build a small HD 2D or 2.5D inspired scene using Cube Grid, simple materials, lighting, post-processing, and a pixel-style character. The goal is not to perfectly copy Adventures of Elliot, but it's just to show you that Unreal can still make beautiful, stylized 2D and HD 2D games if you build the right workflow. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been pretty busy developing a game on the side and just busy with work, life, and my dog has recently injured her CCL, which is a dog's equivalent to an ACL, and that surgery is going to be around like $6,000. I did start a GoFundMe, but there's definitely no obligation at all for support. But the sooner I could get her fixed up, the sooner she can start running again, and any help is appreciated. But anyways, back to the video. First, I'm going to start with a completely empty level. 2.5D scenes usually are not flat tile maps. They have height, they have layers, they have cliffs, stairs, walls, ledges, bridge, and props that make the world feel like a tiny stage. So instead of starting in Blender, I'm going to jump right into Unreal's Cube Grid tool. Cube Grid is basically a fast blockout tool inside of Unreal's modeling mode. It lets you draw out simple grid-based shapes, extrude them, push them, pull them, and build a level almost like you're sketching it with cubes. And for this style, that's actually perfect. I'm going to start with the ground shape first. I don't want a perfect square because perfect squares are usually feel artificial, so I'm going to cut into the edges a little bit, going to add uneven corners and make the floor shape feel like a handcrafted RPG area. You can add some bevel by going into the bevel mode and deciding how big you want them. A flat plane can work, but once you start adding the raised platforms or walls, the world immediately starts to feel more like a miniature set. The nice thing about doing this as Unreal is I can keep adjusting the shape while I'm looking through the actual game camera. I'm not guessing in Blender, exporting, importing, and realizing it feels wrong and then doing it all over again. I can just build directly in the level. Now, this still looks extremely basic, so the next step is materials. So for the floor, I'm using a simple stone or dirt material. For the vertical walls, I want something darker because in 2.5D scenes, the top surfaces and side surfaces usually need to read differently. If the top and side materials are too similar, the whole level turns into mush. So I'm separating the ground from the walls. Top surfaces get a grass material, side surfaces get the cliff material. And I'm using the mesh paint mode in order to do this. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on how I make this, but here's a view of at least the graph of what it looks like. But if you want a deeper tutorial on how to make mesh painting and how to deeply get into level design like this with these methods, please let me know and I can definitely create one. I'm just adding a little bit of edge wear. It does not need to be complicated. Even simple texture additions can make it feel more finished. So for 2.5D, I do not want everything to look super realistic, so I've been using pixel materials that I created. Next is the camera. If the camera's too low, it looks like a normal 3D game. If the camera's too high, it starts feeling like a flat top-down game. For this style, I want something in between. A slightly angled camera looking down at the scene where we could see the pixel character clearly, but still see the depth of the world. And now I'm adding a character. And for now, I'm using my Sprite to Unreal Importer. This has been recently released on FOB if you're interested in it. It basically removes the entire step of exporting everything and manually importing and configuring everything. All you have to do is just connect the Sprite file path and you're good. For now, we're just doing these characters, and these characters are available for free on my itch.io, and I'll leave a link in the description, and feel free to use them as well for practice. I added a little depth of field. I changed the colors of the skylight, and if you add that blur around the character, then that definitely adds a good amount of 2.5D style that Adventures of Elliot has, and also Octopath Traveler. But yeah, if you guys want like a deeper tutorial on how I set everything up and any specifics that you would like to see maybe in the combat system or anything, just let me know in the comments. And if you want me to branch off of this some more, let me know and I can show you guys deeper on how I do everything. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Have a good day.